The Prime Minister says she was appalled to find out government officials were shopping out access to New Zealand's fresh water to overseas companies. That revelation's prompted calls from anti-water bottling campaigners for assurances that it's no longer happening. Jacinda Ardern was similarly affronted, holding up a document from July 2005 this afternoon listing the aquifers that New Zealand Trade and Enterprise had, for all intents and purposes, put up for sale. Political reporter Gia Garrick filed this report.
West Coast Franz Josef was listed as one of the pristine glaciers that overseas investors might come and want to take a stake in. I find it incredible that we would have been in that position in 2015 and absolutely unacceptable.
Earlier this year, Chinese company Nongfu Spring was given approval to expand its Otakiri Springs water bottling plant near Whakatane. In its application, released under the Official Information Act, the company said it had been actively encouraged to buy a facility by New Zealand officials in 2015. Jacinda Ardern says that would not happen under her watch.
The notion that a past government would have instead been promoting it when we're trying to discourage people from investing in that way for the purposes of exporting overseas seems incredible to me.
NZT's role, though, is to promote opportunities in New Zealand. Do you not see bottling freshwater as an opportunity?
No, I do not.
But the National Party Environment spokesperson Scott Simpson, a minister in the previous government, is of the view that was just NZTE doing its job.
NZTE is briefed with improving trade and export enterprises for New Zealand, so I guess it doesn't surprise me that they've been looking along those sorts of lines.
In the same breath, Mr Simpson criticised the government's new 5-year plan to make rivers more swimmable as nothing more than hot air.
This new government, they've taken 12 months to effectively give us a plan that was going to take 4 or 5 years to implement. Now, I don't think that's moving fast or quickly, and actually it was really underwhelming.
The government today announced changes to the Resource Management Act to amend consenting processes and ensure stronger environmental enforcement in a year. It says it will have a new national environmental standard and a new national policy statement by 2020. And it's also talking of managing nutrient discharge allocation and identifying at-risk catchments. Before that happens, though, the government's promised lengthy consultation with interested parties, namely farmers. But the Environment Minister, David Parker, says by 2023, his plan will mean more rivers New Zealanders will be able to swim in.
It's just wrong that at the moment some people can't pop down to their local river and put their head under in summer without risk getting cropped.
Federated Farmers National Water spokesperson Chris Allen says farmers are on board. They just want the government to work with them on a time frame.
Not just take the urban vote, they've got to take the rural vote as well. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to work. Over the last 10 years there's been huge investment on the farm and doing lots of things. I'm not saying every farmer has picked up those signals, but most have.
So the government's promising change to the quality of the water in New Zealand's rivers, but is still stalling on introducing that promised royalty on water bottling for export. Mr Parker and Ms Ardern say they're still working on it. Also a work in progress and in today's blueprint is how the Crown will come to an agreement with Māori on how their rights and interests to fresh water will be recognised. From Parliament for Checkpoint, Gia Garrick.